Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Skein Spider Stadium for the 2024 Crochet Games. I am delighted to be here with my charismatic co-host Roboraptor to bring you all the action from tonight's opening ceremony. And let me just say, Roboraptor, though we may have had our differences in the past, if you'd like to know exactly what those differences entail, links in the description. I truly am thrilled to be here with you tonight while we celebrate creativity, yarn fun, and crochet excellence.
It's sure to be an unforgettable evening.
And not just an evening, we have an entire action-packed week ahead, and you folks at home will get to witness every incredible moment.
They won't want to miss that.
The Crochet Games is the culmination of months of hard work for our crochet competitors, so if you're so inclined, hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you will be there to experience the rapturous highs, the crushing lows, and everything else the Crochet Games has to offer.
Speaking of which,
yes, we're going to see exactly what else the Crochet opening ceremony has in store for us right after this commercial break. Do you find crochet to be too easy? Are you someone who likes to torture themselves unnecessarily? Well, here at Skein Spider Industries, we have just the product for you. The Crino Head 9000. And it can be yours right now for 3 low installments of $99.99. The first 100 buyers will get a free compression glove.
we welcome you all back as our first yarn artist enters the stadium.
And they will be performing a traditional dance of the crochet community called Where the is My Hook? Such a genuinely beautiful performance.
I am deeply moved.
And a truly touching tribute to all crocheters, both past and present.
That's going to be a tough act to follow.
Without a doubt, but I am certain our next artist is more than capable. The crowd are on the edge of their seats as they approach the stage.
The atmosphere is tense with anticipation.
It's really no surprise. We are about to witness a once-in-a-lifetime event. Apparently, this ritual is so complex that it can only be accomplished by the most elite of crocheters.
You've never seen it before?
No, I've only ever heard the rumours. Will history be made here tonight? And she's done it.
That was incredible.
Never thought I would see that in my lifetime.
Are you crying?
No, just have yarn fluff in my eyes.
Well, best remove it fast because you will not want to miss the next segment.
I wouldn't miss it for the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding or sitting or whatever's most comfortable for you for the parade of crocheters. We warmly welcome each of our crochet contenders who come to us from all around the globe. Their presence here today reminds us that crochet is more than just a craft. It's a community, and one in which everybody should be welcome. So please welcome our crochet competitors to Skein Spider Stadium by giving them a large round of applause.
So many amazing crochet artists.
There is no shortage of talent within the crochet community, and we would like to extend our sincere thanks to each and every one of them who contributed to the parade of crocheters here today.
Thank you, crochet contenders.
With the evening's entertainment winding down, we will now cross to our crochet correspondent, Jinx the Spider, for a progress update on the Crolympic torch.
Jinx, what can you tell us?
Our torch's long journey began right here in the heart of the junk pile. From there it has traversed the yarn world, visiting various crochet locations and craft landmarks. Now, that journey is coming to an end with the final destination only seconds away.
Thank you, Jinx.
Yes, thank you, Jinx. A hush has fallen over the stadium as the crowd awaits the arrival of the Crolympic torch. It should be here any moment now.
And there it is.
Our intrepid torchbearer enters the stadium to the roar of the crowd. And now the final exchange is about to take place.
Will you do the honors?
And with the lighting of the mushroom, we officially commemorate the beginning of the 2024 Crolympic Games. Thank you all for joining us here this evening, and we hope to see you back tomorrow for the first day of events.
And for the rest of the week's events too.
Of course, you won't want to miss any of the action. I'm Not Lee.
And I'm Robo-Raptor.
And we wish you goodbye for now, and good night. Welcome everybody to day one of the Crolympics. The games may have only just commenced, but already we've had a glimpse into the kind of crochet excitement and yarn drama we can expect to unfold over the next week.
No!
Oh, nice!
No!
Nice! Hey!
Oh.
We got it now.
Easy. Ball.
Hey!
No, you missed. You hit that.
That went in!
But
Slow
is it-
motion replay, I'm sure that went in.
But hell, hey, I want to check
I can't do the replay now. I'm
No, can
recording.
you just check it? Oh, come on.
Today's featured event is the synchronized crochet, so let's head on over to Skein Spider Stadium to see what our competitors have in store for us. So Kylie from Complicated Knots has very kindly agreed to let me use one of her patterns for our synchronized crochet challenge here today, and the one I have picked is her miniature cockatoo pattern. So if you're interested in making this for yourself, I will put a link to her video down in the description. So before I attempt to crochet this for myself, I think it would be helpful to break this pattern down into its individual parts so I know exactly what I have to make. Looking at the picture, I'd say we have 4 distinct parts. We have the head and body, so this section here, and I'm counting the beak and the feet as part of the head and body pattern because to me those look like popcorn stitches. So I'm going to be counting those as one piece. Then we have the crest up the top here. Now that could be one piece or it could be 4 individual pieces. But for now we'll just call it the crest. Then we have the wings and the tail. So there's at least 4 distinct pieces that I will be working with here. The question is, how do I go about constructing this? Because from my own experience, I would say that there's maybe 3 ways I can do this, or 3 ways that Kylie did this, perhaps more, but I'm thinking of 3. But there is crocheting all the parts individually, then sewing them together at the end. There is crocheting them all as one piece, so there's no sewing at all required. And then there is crocheting the smaller parts first, so in this case that would be the crest, the wings and the tail, and then crocheting them into the head and body piece as that is worked up. And you know what, I've just thought of a 4th one, specifically for the crest in this case, but they could be crocheted directly off of the head and body piece once that is finished. So there's definitely a few ways I can go about this. I'm certainly thinking for the crest, I'll crochet that directly off of the head. But for the wings and the tail, I might just make those separately and then sew them on at the end. But before I do any of those extremity pieces, I want to crochet the head and body. And again, looking closely at the picture, it seems to me that the first round of the head is not sort of right at the top here. It's instead sort of here. It looks like this because the stitches or the rounds angle downwards a little bit. So it looks to me like if the first round starts here, then it's sort of worked at a bit of an angle going this way. Not quite that sharp an angle, but we're working this way. And then the body curves back down like that. So if the first round is here, then I'm thinking either the second or third round is the one that contains the popcorn stitch for the beak. That's where I'm going to start. We're going to be making a bit of a funky coloured cockatoo here today. We've got my pink, my yellow and my red. It's inspired by an actual species of cockatoo called the Major Mitchell's cockatoo, which is predominantly pink and it's got some yellow and red. But the reason I'm not using sort of the traditional white for a cockatoo like a sulfur crested is because the white yarn doesn't really show up that great on the white background. So I wanted to use some coloured stuff so you guys could see what I'm doing. Good visibility is always a positive in crochet videos.
Agreed.
And what I'm doing is starting off with 6 single crochet in a magic circle. And I want to keep that picture up so I can sort of see what I'm doing. Then I might want to put the beak here, because that's sort of what it looks like. To me. I mean, this pattern overall looks very small. Just looking at even the thickest part of the body, I would estimate that that is no larger than maybe 24 stitches, possibly 30 at a stretch, but I don't even think it's quite that big. Third increase, and then I'll do my beak in the next stitch. What should I do that in, red or yellow? Let's go yellow. No, I'm going to do the crest in yellow. Let's go red. So there's my popcorn stitch beak. If I'm going to keep in step with the picture, I might want to stack my increases here. I gotta get rid of this tail. You're starting to annoy me. Bugger off, please. I am debating whether or not I should include the crests as part of the pattern, so just crochet them directly off round, what are we up to, 3? But no, I think I'll stick with my original plan of crocheting them directly to the head once I finish with the head and body piece. Now that's given me 20 stitches in my round. I just want to sort of continue what I was doing, decreasing here, increasing a little bit here so I can get that body shape happening. I don't think I did the head all that well, but I don't mind how the body is shaping up. It doesn't look much like a cockatoo at all. It's sort of giving me either like ring neck or lovebird vibes, but that's okay. Before I continue on though, I do want to add the safety eyes because this is a small piece, I'd rather get them in early than have to try and struggle to get them in later. 9mm, those might work. Honestly don't know if I've got 12mm left. I was dangerously low on my 12mm black safety eye supply. And of course I forgot to order some more, didn't I?
Don't admit that.
You really don't want to be coming into the Crolympics low on supplies. So from the photo, it looks like they're about 3 rounds back from the first round and about two stitches across from the beak. It's always bloody hard to get the backs on these small eyes. There we go. And I think I'm going to add, good job, Lee.
Oh, that's a shame.
Rookie mistake. The judges are certainly going to give her a point deduction for that slip up. For some reason I thought I had a stitch marker in there, but no, apparently not. So luckily it was just 4 stitches. So I'll pop one in there now. Stay there, please. And I'm going to add my stuffing. It's definitely giving Lovebird vibes. Now I'm going to continue on with the rest of the body. And then when I get about here-ish, I'm going to add the feet. And I'll be doing that the same way I added the beak. It's just going to be popcorn stitches. So what's that? Probably another 3, maybe 4 rounds. What did I say? I had 16 stitches, yeah? Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 15, 16. Okay. It's a bit hard to tell from the picture that I've got. So I can't really see how many stitches are between the popcorn stitch legs. But I'm going to guesstimate that it's about 1 or 2. But in my case, I think I might put a decrease between them. It's hard to see because other pieces are kind of blocking it, but I'm guesstimating there's about between, I don't know, 11 and 13-ish rounds. That's what I'm looking for, 11 and 13-ish rounds. I have no idea how many I've done. I've just winged it. Bird pun. I think I inadvertently use that bird pun every time I do something bird related. Well, she won't lose points for the pun, but I think she should. And there we have it. Head and body complete. I don't think I did too bad a job. As I said before, it's kind of hard to see because, like in this case, the wings are blocking, in the picture, the wings are blocking a portion of the back. I've thrown in some half double crochet stitches just because that's something that I occasionally like to do for shaping purposes. But I don't know if Kylie has done that. I don't think so, from what I can see just behind the wing. But for now, I think I'm going to crochet the crest next. So with the crest, we've got 4 individual pieces. The first is slightly shorter than the second, and then the third is shorter than both of those, and the fourth is shorter than all of the rest. It looks like, because my original thought was just to join my yarn, chain, work back down the chain, but it doesn't look like that's how they're made. Again, the angle is not great here. I can't really turn my head around and see, but it kind of looks like they're made with a loop. So rather than chain and work back down the chain to give me my crest, I might instead chain, but then join the opposite end of the chain to the original stitch that I worked into. That would give me a loop shape. So I'm going to join with a slip stitch, and then I'll chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, And then if I bring that down, it looks to be a little bit longer than that, so I'll do 8. 1, 2. And then I can join that there. I mean, that looks okay. I'll leave it for now, and I'll do the rest of the crest, but I want to weave in these ends first because I'll just get in my bloody way. And then I will pop crest 2 just behind crest 1 here. Number 3. And I'm going to continue like this, but I feel I can say with confidence, this is definitely not how the crest was crocheted. Definitely not. And then we're going to go crest 4. So there's my crest, and I definitely failed that one, but I think I might know where I went wrong. Looking at the picture, I do believe I'm correct that they were made starting with a chain, but I think they have at least one row worked back down the chain. These chains by themselves are not quite thick enough to create the crest as it is pictured. I think there is an additional row. And they were probably crocheted individually first and then either sewn on at the end, or like I mentioned at the start, they were crocheted into the head/body pattern as that was worked up. So I don't think I got that right, but I don't know, it doesn't look too bad. It's still cockatoo-ish. But never mind that. I want to carry on and crochet the next part, which is going to be the wings. This again is a small pattern, so I'm only working with 2, potentially 3 rounds. The point's probably not quite as pronounced as in the picture, but I think that kind of works with the pattern that I've got here. So we'll do that for the wings. I'll leave a tail for sewing. Maybe I should have used triples there rather than double, but no, that's okay. I'll stick with that. So now I've just got to remember what I did. So I started off with 6 in a magic circle. Do I want to sew those on first or crochet the tail first? Probably crochet the tail first, and I can just sew on everything all at once. The tail looks like a small piece. I'm just guessing it's a basic triangle-ish shape. I'm making an assumption that we're starting off with a magic circle again. With a tail piece, there is the potential you could start off with a chain, but I'm gonna go magic circle. And now I just need to put all these together, which shouldn't take me too long. Just a little bit of sewing required. Start with the tail because I want the tail to help balance my little lovebird ringtail cockatoo thing here. Possibly made the tail a little bit too big. Yeah, maybe the wings did have 3 rounds, because looking at the picture, the proportions of the wing to the body, they're definitely larger in the image here. So I should have done possibly 3 rounds, or just increased in the second round more than I did. And there we have it. There is my version of the mini cockatoo. And a fairly cute mini cockatoo it is, even if it's not an exact replica of the original. But what did our competitor think of her performance? Well, we managed to find her after the challenge and get her final thoughts. I feel I can confidently say that it is rather different from Kylie's pattern, but honestly that's just a product of how different people go about designing their work, I think. But I did keep the spirit of it alive, or at least that's what I'm telling myself. I've got the crest, even though, as I said, I think there is an additional row there. The body shape is not too bad, but like I've also mentioned, I tend to use half double crochet a lot for my shaping, which is what I've done here, and I don't think Kylie did that. My wings are a bit small and my tail is too long. But overall, I'm pretty happy with my little funky coloured cockatoo. No, stay there. Stay there. Nope. There we go. We wish you all the best for the rest of the Crolympics. Before we finish up here today, we would like to take the time to spotlight one of our other crochet contenders. And today's featured creator is Mariah LW, and all she has to say in her about her section is crochet/knitting/diamond painting. All of Mariah's links will be down in the description, as well as a link to a Google form if you would like to apply for the hookup for yourself. And with that, Roboraptor and I thank you for being with us here today.
And we hope to see you on day 2 tomorrow.
Bye for now. Welcome to day 2 of the Crolympic Games. Today's spotlighted event is the crochet jump competition. If you're just tuning in and would like to see day 1's highlights, please check out the links in the description when you're done here. Now let's head directly to Skein Spider Stadium to see what feats of yarny goodness our crochet contenders have in store for us today. I've heard it said before that the greatest human invention was the wheel. I respectfully disagree. I think it's these things. Ready? Well, that didn't work very well. Hang on, we can do better than that. No, apparently we can't. Let's try this one. Okay, let's go again. Hey! You're my favourite. So I was invited to a 2-year-old's birthday party, and as you can tell, I had fun. But the first thing I thought upon seeing these things was, how do I add them to crochet? That must be done immediately. I wonder if I can do them all at the same time. Ready? Go! You are my favourite, come on! I'm not leaving until it goes. Maybe you need some encouragement. I think I put too much pressure on that one. Literally. Nope. So for this particular experiment that I'm doing, I will have to do some prep work before I can actually start crocheting. Let's get that out of the way first, because if I don't do it, my idea is definitely not going to work. I mean, it might not work anyway, but that's basically what this video is going to be for. I'm just going to throw a whole bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks. The first things I've got are my little jumpy toys here. I don't really have to do anything with those, although because I have quite a number of them, there were some I was considering taking the heads off and replacing that with crochet, but the prep work is minimal for that. I literally just need to rip the heads off. That'd sound good taken out of context. Next up, I've got my paper clips. I want to open these up. I have no idea if this is going to work, but this is what I need the glue gun for. to get a pair of like craft pliers that will make some things so much easier. I'm getting a little bit concerned about my glue gun. Making some odd noises over there. I haven't made one of these since, must be high school, so I don't know if I've done that right.
I'd say no.
No, you haven't done that right. But this paper, well, it's actually more like cardstock. It might be a bit thick. I should try it with some thinner paper. Oh man, if I haven't done this since high school, it's been probably since primary school since I've made one of these bad boys. Couldn't find my glue stick, so I'm using sticky tape instead, because I think the glue gun might have been overkill in this situation. I don't think that one's going to work. At this stage, I have all my miscellaneous bits of junk. I mean, that's what it looks like, doesn't it? It's just junk. But I have all of those set up and ready to go. Now I will need to add in the crochet. To begin with, I've got some yarn picked out already. To begin with, I'm only going to add sort of, I'll call it like the body part. I'm not going to do any extra details yet, because if these things, well, some of these things can't handle that alone, there's no way they're going to be able to handle the crochet with the addition of eyes, limbs, and anything else I plan to add. So we'll start basic, just with a few simple shapes. We'll see if they work with any of these. Hopefully at least one or two do. And then we can go from there. Well, after a couple of hours of crochet, I think I have all the bits that I'm going to need. They don't look like much at the moment, but as I said before, I am going to test them out a little bit first. I don't want to do too much. I'm going to save that for the end, but I'm going to test them out a little bit, and then I'm going to add some features to these so they don't just look like random crochet pieces. They actually look like what they're supposed to look like, which again, you will see at the end. With our crochet competitor having finalised all of her pieces, it is now time to move into stage 2 of the event, the jump off.
What incredible results!
Not sure I would use the word incredible, but they were certainly results. Our final segment today is our crochet competitor spotlight, and today's featured creator is... And today on the hookup, we are featuring the creator Skittles, and she says, I'm a 37-year-old mother of one with a lovely trans wife. I do LARPs, cosplays as well. I also draw digital and pencil, I knit, and I crochet as well. I learned knitting first through my grandmother, then many years later decided to give crochet a try by myself and fell in love with it. I think many of us can relate to falling in love with crochet. All of Skittles' links will be down in the description, so will a link to a Google form if you would like to apply for the hookup for yourself. Let's continue on with the video. Thank you all for joining us here today. We hope to see you back tomorrow on day 3 for more fun-filled crochet events. Notley and Roboraptor signing off. Goodbye for now. Welcome back to our Crowlympic Games coverage. It is day 3 and today we have something very special in store for you. The largest event in the entire Crowlympics. So let's head on over to Skein Spider Stadium now so we don't miss the weigh-in. And that's an almost perfect weigh-in. Comes the bloody hardest part of this whole ordeal. Trying to find... Nope, never mind. Scratch that, I found the center pull. You can tell this yarn has been sitting on my shelf for a while because it is covered in dust. Maybe I shouldn't admit to that. In my defense, those shelves are very tall and I am very short. Was it cluster 5 or 6? How have I miscounted already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to do one more. Okay. Still got 6 clusters. I'm on the right track. So I finished the first sleeve and I'm probably just under the halfway point for this challenge. Why did I cut that? I was going to use it to crochet the sides together.
That's going to cost her.
Unfortunately, I think it will. I would be surprised if we didn't see a point deduction for that. Never mind. Anyway, so I've made what will be the first sleeve. So folded in half. That is going to be the left or possibly right side of my cardi. I will have enough for the second sleeve because I've got just over half of my yarn left. And of course, after that, I'm going to need to add the additional part. I'm going to need to add the joining stitches at the back, and I will add some length to both the sleeves and the bottom section here. And that's probably going to take me over 500 grams, but that's fine. As long as I used up 100 grams for this project, I'm going to count that as a win. So I just want to finish up here. I want to crochet the sleeves together, which I should have done before I cut the yarn, but it's too late now. I'll just reinsert my hook. There we go. I'll just reinsert my hook and crochet my way along the top here. And I'm going to use slip stitches to join rather than single crochet, because I just find that these slip stitches are a little less bulky than the single crochet. They make for a flatter seam. We apologise for the technical difficulties. The second camera operator had some issues and was unable to capture the footage. I forgot to press record on the second camera. Bloody hell. There we go. Okay, that is sleeve number 1. Let me turn this off because otherwise it gets too bright. Sleeve number 1, all finished. Now I'm just going to make sleeve number 2, and hopefully I'll have enough black yarn left over to add all the additional bits that I need. Well, that is 300 grams down. I have, if I can reach it, 200 more to go. I'm hoping that will at least allow me to finish off this sleeve and join the two together. If not, it's not a huge deal because I do have an extra skein of this black yarn, but the challenge was 500 grams, not 700 grams, so I just need to make it to the 500 gram mark. And done. That was actually the final round of my sleeve. What I will do this time is remember to crochet the sides together before cutting the yarn, because I know I buggered that up last time. So let me get this all aligned properly. And then I'm just going to crochet, or slip stitch to be specific, slip stitch my way across the top here. It makes things so much easier when you don't accidentally cut your yarn. Well, I mean, it wasn't an accident. I did do it on purpose. I just did it by mistake. And there we have it. Sleeve 2 is finished, and upon completing that, I'm gonna guess roughly half the yarn left, so about 100 grams to go. And I'm going to use that to create the sort of the back panel between the two sleeves. So if I put this one on, and I have the other one on my other arm, hang on. And I put the other one on my other arm, I will need to crochet the back together. That's what I'm going to use this yarn for. Hopefully I will have enough, but if I don't, as I said before, I do have an extra skein of this black yarn. But again, this was just a 500 gram challenge. That's all I need to use for now. Yesterday I finished off my second black sleeve, and because that's the case, I will now need to crochet the back portion. And it occurred to me as I picked these up 10 minutes ago that I don't really remember how to do that, because it's been quite a while since I've made sort of my first and only granny hexagon cardigan. So I will need to watch a tutorial first, and then I will come back and finish these off.
Can she do that?
Does the Crolympics allow cheat sheets? I might be able to get away with just winging it, because that is literally what I did the first time around and that worked out okay. But I think for this one, I actually want to look up how to do it properly, or at least a couple of proper methods if there's more than one. All right, making progress. I have finished the back section. of both sides. So now all that's left to do is to join them together like so. And I'm going to have plenty of yarn to do that with. I was concerned there for a bit, but no, I've got all of this, so that's plenty to work with. After that, my next step is probably going to be the sleeves. I'll add length to those. However, because I have fallen a little bit behind in these series of challenges because I ended up getting sick for almost 2 weeks, I might leave the top section finished for now. Then I'll try and complete some of the other challenges that I need to get through. And if at the end I have time, I will come back and just use up the rest of the yarn for this 500 gram challenge. But if I don't, that's not too big a deal because I've at least finished the top section of this hexie cardigan, and you know what, I'll take that. I'm happy with that. But for now, I will join it, and then it's just a matter of how things turn out and whether or not I'll be able to completely finish the 500 gram challenge, because at the moment it's probably, I'd have to weigh this, but I don't know, maybe a 480 gram challenge. What are your thoughts on leaving the challenge unfinished?
It's a risky strategy.
I mean, it certainly is, but hopefully she can pull through in the second half. Unfortunately, our crochet competitor wasn't able to pull through. While she did finish the majority of the challenge, there was yarn left over. So we leave this one up to you, the judges at home. Is this grounds for disqualification?
I think so, but I leave the choice up to all of you.
No matter what they decide though, something all of the judges are bound to love is today's spotlighted crochet competitor. And today's creator is Olivia Tipton, and she says, I started about 8 months ago. I have come so far and already so in love with crocheting and have sold so many things. Well, congratulations on selling so many things. All of Olivia's links will be down in the description. So is a link to a Google form if you would like to apply for the hookup for yourself. And now let's get back to the Crolympics. And with that, day 3 comes to a close. We hope to see you all tomorrow for day 4. Thank you all very much for watching. This is Notley and Roboraptor signing off once more. See you all tomorrow. It's day 4 of the Crolympic Games, and today's event kicked off at the archery arena, where our crochet competitors gathered to determine what kind of challenge they would be undertaking.
Play the footage.
And here you can see our crochet competitor attempting to hit one of the numbers in the outer ring. What number she lands on will determine the kind of project she'll need to crochet. And it looks like we have a winner. 60 it is. And thus it was decided day 4's challenge would be finish a whip. Let's see how that unfolded. Hello, it's a bit scary, isn't it? I didn't mean to press record then. I think most of my whips are over here. Okay, I've got a bag here. Yep. That's definitely a whip bag. And then, oh, Raymond, I forgot about you. He's slightly naked at the moment. I might have to blur that out. And then there is this. But I'm pretty sure this was the bag that I wanted to, the stuff I wanted to frog. So I'm going to set that aside. There's definitely more whips, but I have a feeling that they, let me move the camera. They are in those squares behind all of this junk. So hopefully I can find what I need for this challenge in this bag here, so I don't have to go ahead and move all that stuff. I don't really want to do that. I remember it took me about 20 minutes to get it all stacked in there. Okay, let's go through the bag. First we have Raymond, who you've already seen, and really all I need to make for him are the clothes, because I'm pretty sure, I hope they're in this bag. Maybe not. I could have sworn I had a pair of like little plastic glasses, but they used to belong to my nephews when they were little. But yeah, I do have glasses somewhere, so I don't have to worry about making those. It's just the clothes, so that is a viable option. Put you there. You can go in the maybe pile. This one, I think there was arms too, yes. This was supposed to be part of like a series of egg-laying dinos that I did. I've made the egg-laying pterodactyl. You might see that occasionally hanging out in my background over there. I can't remember if this was supposed to be a triceratops or like a parasaur because I was going to make both. But this one is actually finished except for the head and potentially the tail, but depending on what sort of dino I did, it may or may not need a prominent tail piece. But that again is a viable option. Then, oh man, this has been sitting in here for years. My Leafeon. Oh, I really want to get this finished. I just forget about it when it sits in the bag in the shelf over there. Oh, as much as I would like to choose this for my project, I think this is just going to be too big for this series I'm doing. I have fallen a little bit behind as of filming this. I ended up getting sick and just had some other stuff going on. So I lost about 2 weeks of time that was intended for filming and editing. I'm in a little bit of a rush at the moment, and I just don't think choosing a big project like this to finish off is going to make the situation better. But I've got 2 front legs. I'm pretty sure they were the front legs. And there is the second ear. So this dude really needs a pair of back legs and a tail, and obviously some assembly too. And I think that's just going to take a little bit too long for this series. That's disappointing, but yeah, I can't really push it any more than I already have. You know what I could do though, is potentially do a video in the future where I actually finish some of these whips. I did a video a while ago where I was going through them, but maybe it's time to actually finish the ones I want to finish. Oh, my little echidna. This might be a good project to finish because all I have to do is create the spines. I wanted to frog these ones I did because I wasn't really happy with them. But yeah, I could finish that because everything else is done. It just needs some spines. And that would mean I don't need to move all the junk over in the corner there to find myself another whip. What do you reckon? Should we finish you off? I think it's about time. It's only been like, I don't know, 18 months, 2 years. Well, this might be a bit of a problem because I don't have any of that brown yarn left, because I know it definitely wasn't this brand of yarn. It was one of the really cheap and nasty skeins I got when I first started crocheting that I used to make the echidna. And I don't have any of that left. So we're just gonna have to go with this brown and this yellow, I think. I don't know if the judges are going to like that. Different colors are permissible, but different brands, I don't think they're going to let that one slide. It's not really relevant to this project, but I just wanted to share with you all. I found the glasses. So this is what Raymond would look like with his glasses on. Alrighty, I have my yarn. Unfortunately, it's not the same kind of yarn that I used in the original project, but I don't have any of that left. As I was getting my yarn, I was thinking about how I wanted to make the spikes, and I think I'm actually going to leave these as they are. I was planning to frog them because I didn't really like them, but maybe I'll get the second camera up so you guys can actually see properly what I'm talking about here. Yeah, I wasn't really a fan of the gaps in between each of the spikes, nor how the spikes sort of stick up like that. The latter is a problem that's easily solved because I just need to put a stitch in the end of each spine to keep it flush against the body. But for the gap problem, what I'm considering doing is just leaving this as is, but then the second row of spines that I do, I will create those in between these spines of the first row. So if I joined my yarn, say, behind this first spine here, I could crochet across a couple of stitches, crochet the second spine here, crochet across underneath this second spine, crochet the third spine, oh no, that would be the second spine in this case, crochet the third spine in between these two. And that might look okay, because my other idea was just to crochet each of the spines individually and then sew them on. But that's a lot of sewing. If I crochet the spines directly onto the body, I think that'll make this whole process a lot easier. Less sewing, less ends to weave in, just so much easier all around. So I think that's what I'm going to do. If I don't like it, this is the prototype of my pattern, and oftentimes there are many things that I want to change once I've finished a prototype. So there's no reason that I can't do that in this case too. Now I did get out the yellow as well, because I was thinking of adding sort of yellow tips to the spines, but I might just do that for the spines further back along the body. I'll keep it mostly brown at the front here and then slowly introduce the yellow, I think. I just want to see how that looks. All right, let's get to it. I've reached the point where I want to crochet the first spine, but I need to try and replicate what I've done here. So let's count how many stitches I've got on this chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think. So that means I need to chain 8. And then it looks like I've done 2 slip stitches, 2 single crochet, and then 3 half double crochet. I mean, that's what it looks like. I'm going to try that and then see how well it matches to the first set of spines. So I want to chain 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then, what did I say? 2 slip stitches. And then 2 single crochet. 1 and 2, and then 3 half double, I think. And 3. Now for the comparison, yeah, I mean that's pretty similar. They're going to look a little bit different just because I believe this brown yarn that I used originally was a thicker weight, so that's definitely going to change the size a little bit, but for the most part, yeah, that looks fairly accurate. So I'm just going to continue on with that. I'll do this first set of spines, and I'm still not convinced that I want to crochet them directly onto the body. I think as much of a pain as it would be to sew multiple spines down and weave in all the ends, all that good stuff, I think it would give me more control over where I can place the spines. I'd be able to overlap them better, but I'm going to stick with this for now. Okay, well, I hated pretty much everything about that. There's that Crolympic spirit.
Love to see it.
I am struggling to get this hook into the body. I'm assuming when I made this, I used either a 3 or a 3.5 millimeter hook. And at the moment, that's too much on my hands using a smaller hook size. So I've been using the 4 and I struggled to get it in between the stitches. I keep grabbing hold of tufts of stuffing and they just keep pulling out of the body, and then they make it even more difficult to crochet across. On top of that, I really just don't like how this is looking. Even if I sew those down, stay down please. Yeah, that's about as close as I can get it. But I just don't like how it's looking. As I said, it's too, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's too like structured. That's not quite the word. But I want the spines to look a little bit more random, a bit more chaotic, and this ain't it. Rather than take out my work, I will leave these as is, but I think I'm actually going to go the route of crocheting individual spines and then sewing them down. I'm kind of in a which is worse situation. Is it worse to deal with all the nonsense that comes with crocheting across the body at this point, or is it worse to have multiple ends to weave in and lots of sewing to do? I don't know, but I've tried the first one and I did not like it, so I may as well give the second one a go. I'm still not going to frog these though. I can, now that I have them, I can place spines that I crochet, individually in between the ones I've already made, so that should make them appear a little less, I still can't think of the word that I want to use. Well, luckily she's not being judged on her vocabulary, but structured is the one that comes to mind. Now I need to make a whole bunch of individual spines, and rather than use the 4mm hook, I think I'm going to try and bump that up to a 5. I just want to see what that looks like. If I think it's too big and it causes like the stitches to gape a little bit, I can just bump that back down again. No big deal. We're doing lots of experimenting with this little echidna. Okay, spine time. Well, I've made 30 spines at this point. They are entirely in brown, and that is so many ends to weave in, and I'm not even finished yet. But what I'm thinking at this point is I will attach what I have. I will see how far down the body that gets me, and then I think I'm going to start crocheting some spines, but I'll introduce some yellow at the tip here. Yeah, I'll just attach what I have and then see what I'm working with once that's done. Got a decent number of the fully brown spines now, and I'm going to make several of the spines with yellow tips. I don't have too much space left to work with, but that's okay because I don't want an overwhelming number of these yellow tip spines anyway, and I might even throw in a couple throughout the rest of the spines anyway, just break that up a little bit. And after that will come the fun job of sewing all of these down. I could use glue instead, that would be a lot quicker, but that might be a lot messier too. I'm actually going to use a different brown for these other spikes I'm going to crochet, just because I want to see what it looks like with a mixture of the different browns, because I've already got that, seeing as the first round was crocheted in a completely different yarn anyway. But yeah, I'll give that a go. I decided to mix things up a little bit. I went with my original idea and did some of this lighter brown with yellow, but then I did some of the original brown, well, not the original brown, the original brown I used this time. I did that with the yellow, and then I just went ahead and made some straight up plain yellow spines. So I'm probably going to scatter those throughout what I've already got, just to sort of like break up the monotony a little bit. It looks a little bit too samey at the moment. done! Finally, I have weaved in so many ends. But I think it was worth it because despite it looking a little bit disheveled at the moment, I kind of like how it's turned out. I'm glad I went with the different coloured spines. They've got a couple of I probably didn't use the correct shade of brown with this spine here, but it adds to the overall effect. Yeah, I like it. Could have gone with a different shade, but you know, not too bad, not too bad. All that remains to do now is to stick down these spines. I am kind of liking the disheveled look, like I said, but I think it's just a little bit too disheveled. I want to tame it a little bit, at least for the front. Whoops. At least for the front spines here. And I know before I was debating whether or not I should sew these ends down or glue them down. And while those two are still options, I think what I'm going to try is this. I have this, it's a stiffening spray. I've used it a couple of times and I don't know if it will help with like this situation I've got going here. But all I can do is really try it, and if it doesn't work out, doesn't keep the spines flat like I'm hoping it will, then I can always come back and either sew or glue them then. My little friend here kind of looks like she's covered in rainbow sprinkles at the moment, but that is all done. Now, I'm not entirely sure how long this is going to take or is supposed to take to dry, but I'm probably just going to leave it for about 24 hours anyway. So I'll set you aside. I really need to find a good spot where I won't accidentally knock it onto the floor or something. And now that's done, I need to wipe down my entire area because this shit is sticky and I got it everywhere. While that was an interesting saga, it wasn't completely over yet. We returned the next day to chat with our crochet competitor to hear her perspective on her performance and get her thoughts on the finished results. And my echidna is thoroughly dry because it's been a lot longer than 24 hours, but we're not going to talk about that. Instead, the first thing I want to do is get rid of these pins and just see how effective the spray actually was. I think I got all the pins. It's a bit hard to tell, but there we go. This spray actually worked pretty well. In fact, it might have worked too well because the spines are laying incredibly flat. I was hoping to keep just a little bit of that disheveled look, but no. In a surprising turn of events, something I tried actually worked out for once. Though I think the sacrifice you have to make for the spray working pretty well is that it makes your work kind of crunchy. It's not a fun sensation, or at least I don't enjoy touching that. So maybe if you were making a plushie that you intended to, I don't know, maybe give it to a kid, or I don't know, you intend to cuddle yourself, using this spray may not be the way to go. You might prefer to either sew or glue down your pieces. But for my purposes, and my purposes being this little guy's just going to be sitting on my amigurumi shelf, that works pretty well. I like those results. So there we go. I finished a whip. Yes, this tiny project took me, was it like 18 months, 2 years, possibly even 3 years at this point, but it is now done. And you're actually rather cute. I like how these spines turned out. I'm still not thrilled with the lighter brown I use. I definitely should have gone with a different shade, but it doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look terrible. And I'll have a second crack at this anyway because I will need to make a version for the written pattern, which will be available on Patreon. All right, now I can put you on the shelf with the other Australian animals I've made so far. We thank our crochet competitor for sharing her thoughts with us, but she wasn't the only competitor that we spoke to today. And today on the hookup, we are featuring the creator Chloe Crochets, and she says, I crochet and write patterns. I started crocheting in 2021 and have been hooked, haha, now I'm a committee genius, ever since. I just recently started taking commissions in my area and I plan to open an Etsy or website by April. I just started posting YouTube videos recently and have fallen in love with the crochet community. If you would like to check them out for yourself, all of Chloe Crochet's links will be down in the description, and so is a link to a Google form if you would like to apply for the hookup for yourself. And that brings day 4 of the Crolympic Games to a close. Thank you all for watching. We hope you'll join us tomorrow for day 5, but this is Not Lee and Roboraptor signing off. Goodbye and good night. Day 5 of the Crolympic Games is all about speed. Our crochet competitor is competing in the 50-gram race. What will she make?
Stay tuned to find out.
There's a project I want to make out of solid granny squares, and I want to make it with a dark navy blue, a lighter blue and white, possibly grey, but at the moment it's white. But I'm going to need a decent number of squares, and I only have 4 50-gram skeins of the dark blue yarn that I'm planning to use. So today I want to find out how many squares I can crochet from one of those skeins. So first of all, let's do the weigh-in. Very important, got to do the weigh-in. That one's 47, 48, 37, oh, must have used a bit of that already, and 44. Well, none of those were 50. Where do I send my complaint letter? Just for reference, we here at the Crolympic Games do not accept complaint letters. But I think this one had the most. That was 47. Yeah, so we'll go with this one. Now I want to see how many squares I can get out of this, because for both the lighter blue and either the white or grey, it doesn't matter which one I go with, but I have a lot more skeins of those than I do of these, so that it doesn't matter so much. I will be able to make enough squares with those. It's this dark blue I'm a bit concerned about. Next question is, what size hook do I use? I might try a 5 to begin with, but I could go down to a 4. I could drop it down to a 4, but we'll start with the 5. Now I've got to see if I remember how to do this, because the pattern I am using is one I did for my 100 days of granny squares challenge that I was never able to finish. Helps if you press record. And I've got to make sure I only do 4 clusters of these double crochet, because I've been making a lot of granny hexagon cardigans, and obviously those start off with 6. And if I zone out, I think my muscle memory will take over and I'll accidentally do 6. I need to undo my work. I like to leave a longer yarn tail to begin with when I start with a magic circle, so that way I can weave it in and secure it later, so my granny square or hexagon does not unravel from the center. And I forgot to do that in this case. It's good that she caught that mistake early.
No doubt the judges would have taken points for that.
I've done 3 rounds so far, and I might do 1, possibly 2 more. I don't want these squares to be huge. I sort of want them in the Goldilocks zone. I don't want them too small. I don't want them too big. They just got to be that perfect mid-size. So I'll give it another round, then we can check it out and see what I think. And then I may potentially add another one. And you know what? I think 4 rounds is a good size. I don't think I want to do one more. I reckon that will be good. So I'm going to finish up. I'm going to finish up there. Well, now we know that I can get at least one granny square from these skeins. Surprise, surprise. I could do the smart thing at this point and weigh this single square, see how much it comes to, and then work out roughly how many granny squares I could make from one skein. But you know what? I'd rather it be a surprise. She deliberately chose not to go with the smart option. That's an unusual strategy.
Stupid. The word is stupid.
I will continue making granny squares using this same skein of yarn, so I'm going to put you over there so it doesn't get confused with the other ones. But I'm going to leave it as a surprise, see how many I can get from the one skein, and then once I know that, I can estimate how many I'll get from all 4, though I need to take into consideration that one of those skeins was partially used. What was it? It came to like 37 grams or something. But I can get a rough estimate anyway. And then once I know how many dark blue squares I have, I can get a better idea of how many squares I can use overall in my project and how big I can make this project, because the number of granny squares is going to impact the size or the length of that. All right, more fun granny square nonsense coming up. All right, let's make square number 2. Square 2. And that's number 3 done. 1, 2, and 3. If I'm lucky, I'll get at least another 2 out of this, but hopefully I can at least get 3. 3 squares down, it is time for number 4, and I think I said the other day I was hoping to get at least another 2, possibly 3 squares from the remainder of this skein. But I'm not sure I can push it to 3, so we'll go for 2. I am 4 squares down and I have this much yarn left. I think we're going to be playing a little bit of yarn chicken here today. I honestly don't know if that's going to get me 1 more square. Perhaps if she'd gone with the smart option, she'd already know this. I mean, here I was being optimistic before, hoping I'd get at least 2, but that's definitely not going to happen. But I might just have enough for 1. I'm usually pretty terrible at this, estimating how much yarn I need for a project. It's just not one of those skills that I'm good at. So my plan, rather than just wasting my time guesstimating, is just to crochet and pray to the crochet gods that I have enough yarn for at least 1 more square. If I can get 5 squares out of 1 skein, I'd be happy with that. I'd take that. That will give me, what have I got, 4 skeins? Roughly 20 squares, maybe 1 or 2 less, because when we weighed the skeins, I think one of them was partially used. There was only 35 grams or something left of the skein. So it may end up being less than 20. So that means I won't get the full 5 from that skein at least. But hey, I might not get the full 5 from, oh, that's not a nice noise. I might not get the full 5 from the full skein. There was too many F sounds in that sentence. I might not get the full 5 from these full skeins. I'm just going to start crocheting. I'm going to stop talking now. If you can't hear it in my voice, I've been a bit sick, so I'm going to blame that. I'm going to blame that on my brain no talk good today. I've done one side of the final round and there's no way I'm going to have enough yarn. Shit. That's a bit of a bugger. I was hoping to get the 5 full squares from one skein, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. This is it. This is the end. No more yarn left. Ah, that really sucks. I just had 2 sides that I needed to do. Oh well. No good crying over spilt milk or losing at yarn chicken. I'll just have to bring in one of my other skeins and use that up. I think this one was the partially used one, so I'll start with that. The one that was 30 something grams. It was either 35 or 37, something like that. But I'll use this one up and we'll finish off this last square. And there we have it, square number 5. I think I both passed and failed this challenge because I did use up the full 50 gram skein that I wanted to, but I didn't achieve the full 5 squares from it that I wanted to. I had to bring in a substitute, call in one of the bench warmers. I'll continue crocheting these squares from my remaining yarn, and I will count how many I have at the end, obviously, but if I'm getting the maybe just under 20 that I'm predicting, that may not be enough to go ahead with my original idea. Fortunately, I had a backup waiting, so we may have to just do that instead, and then I can always redo my original idea in a different yarn, one that I have more of. While that project certainly sounds interesting, we'll have to cover that at a later date because day 5 of the Crolympic Games is coming to a close. But before it does entirely, we need to do And today on the hookup, we are featuring the creator Mary Mandrake, and she says, I'm in my 30s and living in Finland. I have loved creating since I could hold pens and scissors and have tried a whole lot of crafts in my lifetime. Yarn stole my heart over 10 years ago, and nowadays, with what little me time I managed to squeeze, I've got 2 small kiddos, I crochet all sorts of things with a witchy, quirky, pagan theme. I recently started an Etsy store so I could share my patterns with others. If you're interested in checking out Mary Mandrake's Etsy store or any of her other links, they will all be down in the description. Also hanging out down there will be a link to a Google form if you're interested in applying for the hookup for yourself. And now, let's get back to the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed day 5 of the Crolympic Games, and perhaps you may see that interesting project pop up in a month or 2, or possibly more. Thank you again, and we hope you tune in tomorrow for day 6. This is Notley and Roboraptor saying goodbye and see you tomorrow. Welcome to day 6 of the Crolympic Games, and we have a special treat in store for all of you today. You see, there are some crochet events that are so large in scale, they actually exceed the limits of Skein Spider Stadium. The Cross Country Crochet Challenge is one such event.
Here's what happened.
Knowing the goal of the cross country is to crochet as much as one can within a single round trip, our crochet competitor gathered all her supplies the night before to ensure she'd be properly prepared for the next day's event. The morning of the event, after a last-minute supply check, it was time to hit the road, though not before a quick stop at the servo for petrol. The cross-country event seemed to be off to a promising start. The road was smooth and the weather slowly clearing, perfect conditions for a day of road trip crochet. Or so our crochet competitor thought. For you see, on this day, an unexpected hurdle had been thrown into our crochet competitor's path, one which had the potential to disrupt the entire event. The hyperactive 5-year-old niece obstacle.
Hi everybody.
As the journey progressed and the noise level in the car rose to decibels potentially damaging to the human ear, our crochet competitor repeatedly failed to reach her crochet targets. Would this obstacle prove too difficult to overcome? Welcome home, everyone. I will give you a bit of a tour later, but for now, you know what, actually, I'm excited to be able to work with natural light. I've got a big window here. I've got another large window over there. I'm not accustomed to this. I'm more used to the crappy artificial lights I have back at my place. But anyway, let's not worry about that now. On the way up here, for the couple of hours that took, I only managed to make 2, 3, 4, 5 butterflies. I'm going to blame my niece for this one because we brought her up here with us and I love that kid, but by God, she does not shut up. She is a chatterbox of epic proportions. So I'm going to try and make up for lost time and get some more crocheted during the day. At least that's what I'm going to try and do. History suggests that I'm going to get very distracted very easily up here. There's always plenty to do. But this, honestly, for the rest of this challenge, I've worked really hard. I've put a lot of effort into my challenges. I've done a lot of sort of larger-ish projects, and I think this one, I'm aiming for it to be the chill project, just a little bit casual to give myself a bit of a break from all the other stuff that I've been working on. But before I even get to crocheting, I might take you guys on a mini tour. Come on, let's go. Despite her best intentions, our crochet competitor did not achieve much during the first half of the event. Instead, she allowed herself to become distracted by nature. By the ever-growing junk pile, which is always good to snoop through to try and find items for other craft projects. If you've ever wondered why I hoard a lot of stuff, this is the reason. By paying her respects at the vehicle graveyard. I would not recommend going in there now. Nature has reclaimed it, and so have 700 million spiders. By her dad's own artwork. By being ordered around by a child. Recording.
You should leave it on.
No, because I was moving. So I turned it off. It just saves the battery. Don't tell me how to do my job. You will, yeah, I know you will. Ready? Go.
I'm Captain.
What's your magnificent vessel called, Captain?
My name is Captain.
No, not your name, the name of your boat.
Boat.
It's just called Boat. Your boat's called Boat.
Yeah.
Very nice. Extra creative.
Pirates like. Arr!
By helping her family do some prep work for the upcoming bushfire season. I think you're supposed to rake it towards the pile. And then creating a fire of her own. While the first half of the event was certainly a bust, our crochet competitor made up for it in the second half. Turns out she had a few minutes to spare because her niece had some issues she needed to work through. Well, I've had a wonderfully unsuccessful day. All I managed to get crocheted was one butterfly each of the other colours that I plan to use in my future project. You saw the light purples this morning, and yeah, all I've done since then is a white, a dark grey, a lighter grey, a dark purple, and a medium purple. I'm gonna blame this one on my niece. She distracted me, and I think she discovered that she likes being on camera, so that was fun. Because it is coming into night time now, well, I mean, technically it's only, 4-ish o'clock, but because it's winter here, it gets dark very early. So that means she's going to be going to bed, which gives me at least a few hours to work on some more of these. I was planning to do some tomorrow as well when I get up in the morning, but I think our plans have changed, so I probably won't have time at all to crochet tomorrow. Unfortunate, but maybe I can do some in the car on the way home. I would say providing my niece shuts up, but I already know that's not going to happen. But at least for this challenge, I didn't have a set number I wanted to get to. I just had to crochet cross country, and I've sort of done that so far, I guess. I'm going to say I have anyway. I'll put you all back in there, because the last thing I want to do is actually leave anything up here. Okay, and I think I'm gonna chuck a movie on and do some crocheting. The next day, our crochet competitor made the long trek back. Exactly 0 butterflies were crocheted during the course of this return journey. The crochet competitor would once again like for it to be known that she places the blame for this squarely on her niece's shoulders. We hope you all enjoyed our day 6 adventure. We attempted to reach out to our crochet competitor for comment, but she was apparently passed out from exhaustion brought on by dealing with a hyperactive 5-year-old for 36 hours straight. But while she gets some rest, we would like to direct your attention to a fellow crochet contender. And today on the hookup, we are featuring the creator, Creation Isabel. And she says, I started crocheting 4 years ago, and I started doing events like Otakuthon last year, and I just started making my patterns this year. Well, that was relatively short and sweet, but all of Creation Isabel's links are down in the description. So is a link to a Google form if you would like to apply for the hookup for yourself. And now we can get back to the closing of day 6 of the Crolympics. Thank you all for watching. Sadly, the Crolympic Games is almost at an end, but we hope you'll join us tomorrow for our 7th and final day of competition. This is Notley and Roboraptor signing off. Goodbye for now. Welcome everyone to the 7th and final day of the 2024 Crowlympic Games. I think it's fair to say that our crochet competitor has been pretty bloody busy this past week, but with one event to go, will she be able to cast all distractions aside and finish strong? Tiffany! Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. Don't run away from me.
Well, I'm guessing that's a no.
Technically, this is a crochet project. I'm just trying to decide which pal I want to crochet. The front runners are currently Chillet and Tiffany. Look at them. They're so damn cute. What's not to love about a teapot elephant? Come back. Come back. Hey, Tiffany. Uh-oh. Everyone saw that Tiffany attacked first. I have my yarn. The yellow is a little bit too bright for Tiffany, but it's what I've got, so it's what I'm going to use. There's cat hair everywhere. Why am I surprised? My house is full of cat hair. That makes it sound like I don't clean, doesn't it? But no, I do. Anyone with pets will know that you are locked in constant battle against the pet fur. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. Before I start crocheting here, I want to do a bit of a breakdown of the pieces that I'm going to need. So let's bring you in here. Alright, so we've kind of got a bowl. So Tiffany's a bowl. Okay, so that is what Tiffany kind of looks like. Ignore this bit. That's what happens when I don't concentrate. So I need to really make... Bloody hell. You think you press the button, but you just don't. Looks like our competitor has just set a new Crowlympic record for the fastest expression of the 5 stages of grief.
It'll go nicely with her world record for most failed recording attempts.
I just realised I did that whole thing and I hadn't pressed record properly. Well, anyway, there's my Tiffany that I drew. Ignore this bit. That's the bit you got to ignore. And these are the bits that I've broken it down into that I need to crochet. Bloody hell, that is so annoying. Anyway, onto crocheting. You know what? I'm just going to let that, I'm not going to touch that. I'm just going to let it keep recording so I don't bugger it up again. So I'm going to start up. I've got one, I think they're partial skeins of these colours, but I have these left over as well. So I'm going to start with those. First thing I'm going to make is the ball for the body. That way I can proportion everything else to that. Where is right here? Got my hook. And I need to find the end. And I want to write down this pattern as I go because I will be making a version for my patrons over on Patreon. And that should be out in a week or so, hopefully not even that long. Although it may be even longer because it looks like it's going to take me about 3 months just to untangle this bloody yarn.
This isn't the yarn untangling event.
And unfortunately, due to a scheduling conflict, the full yarn untangling event will not be televised. Round 1. Damn it, I want to start with the method I learnt from the Spoony Stitcher. Well, that's fortuitous. I have some yellow scrap right there on my bench. I'm not beating those not cleaning allegations, am I? That works beautifully. If you're not sure what method I'm talking about, I will put a link for it down in the description. I was originally told about it by a creator called the Spoony Stitcher, and it works just brilliantly, especially if you're one of those people who doesn't like the way the chain 2 method looks when you use this chunky yarn, because it frustrates me when you get that little hole, that tiny little hole gets left. But this eliminates that entirely. Oh, hello, you can't stay. I got to crochet. I've got crocheting to do. Reason A why there's so much fur in my craft room. Reason B is asleep on my bed. You can't stay. I got to crochet. You wanna go up there? You wanna go up there? You gotta stay there. You gotta stay there. I gotta crochet stuff. I'm gonna get down. Alright, come on, old girl. Come on, old girl. Oh, this is really not ideal, Belle. So that's where I've increased out to. I'm not going to go any larger than that because, to be honest, I'm frightened I'm going to run out of yarn. But from here, I just want to crochet down. I'm going to add the stuffing and decrease to close the piece back up. And once that's done, it'll give me a much better idea of how big or small I need to crochet the other pieces. I'm gonna have to be slightly off center because my cat will not move. But I have acquired one teafant ball, and while I was going to make the legs next, I'm actually thinking I might make the pieces from the top down for no other reason that I want to. My brain went, here's an idea, and I was like, yeah, that works. So that's what I'm going to do. So I will get out my blue yarn because I'm probably going to make the flower piece that goes over the top first and then the flame lid, because that way I can tailor the size of the flame to the flower, because I think it's important I get the flower correct, because if I make that too large, that's then going to impact the positioning of the ears and the spout and even the eyes to a certain extent. So I want to make sure I get that right, whereas the size of the flame I don't think matters as much. Sounds perfectly logical to me, so that's what I'm going to do. Am I the only one who thinks amigurumi looks really weird up until the last moments when you finally assemble it all? I mean, look at that. There's no way you'd think that'd turn into some sort of elephant teapot. Although, to be fair, it might not. I haven't finished it yet. But I think the next piece that I want to attempt is going to be the spout or the trunk. Technically, it's both. And that way, once that's on, I'll be able to see how much room I've got to work with for the ear pieces. And we have ourselves a trunk. I'm not too thrilled with the shaping of this one. I'd like to get it a little bit curvier, but I can do that when it's time to review the pattern before I make the written version of the pattern. It's not like it's too bad. I think it just needs a bit of more of a curve towards the top of the spout here. But with that done, I can now proceed to crochet the ears. And for that, I'm going to need both my yellow and my blue yarn. Please don't fall off. So despite them being a little on the large size, I think I'm going to keep that pattern as is. I like that. Now that the ears are finished though, the next piece I'm going to crochet is the tail. And I'm probably going to do that all as one piece. So I'll start in the blue and then switch to the yellow. And after that, all I've got to do is the legs. No, I lied. All I've got to do is the legs and the eyes. Maybe what I meant to say was all I've got left to do in the chunky yarn is the legs, because I'm going to have to do the eyes in probably some 8-ply. I don't have the colours in the chunky yarn to make the eye, and even if I did, to be honest, I don't have the patience to make tiny fiddly bits with the chunky yarn anyway. Much rather just save myself the trouble and do it in the 8-ply from the get-go. and Tiefend now has a tail. I honestly don't know if I've made this too short or too long because I can't quite remember what Tiefend looks like from behind. All the images I've got up here on Google are from a more of a front view, so I can't really see the exact length of the tail, but it's not that big a deal. I'll just hop back into the game later and check out Tiefend's butt, and I can determine whether this tail needs to be shortened, if it needs to be lengthened, and I'll make adjustments before I do the written pattern. For now, I'm going to continue on with the legs. That's all I have left to do in the chunky yarn. And I'm thinking at that point I might sew all these pieces together and then do the eyes, because once they're all sewn down and secured, I'll just have a better idea of how big I can make the eyes. So that is what we're going to do next. One more thing, well, technically 4 more things to go in the chunky yarn. Well, I have crocheted myself 4 chunky little legs, and now that they're done, I'm going to start assembling this thing, because like I said before, I think it'll be easier to do that first and then crochet myself the eyes. I think I'll start top down, so I might position the top of the teapot or the flower thing, whatever the hell that is called. I'll start with that and then sort of position everything in relation to that. So yeah, not much left to go with this challenge. Let's get you all put together, my little Tiefend. And with the assembly in the bag, our crochet competitor successfully closed out day 7 of the Crolympic Games.
But what was the finished piece like?
There's my Tiefend. Now go away. This is the first chance I've had to play the new update. Well, that was a bit rude. But we hope you enjoy the Palworld update nonetheless, and we hope all of you at home have enjoyed this Crolympic game series. Roboraptor and I thank all of you for sticking with us throughout this entire week. We'll wrap things up officially tomorrow during the closing ceremony.
We hope to see you all there.
Notley and Roboraptor signing off for the final time. Goodbye and good night. And our final featured creator for these Crolympic Games is Augie. I apologise if I pronounce that wrong, please correct me in the comments. He says, "Hi, I'm a beginner crocheter who has done many different crafts throughout their life. My page contains content about crafts I do, books I read, and stuff I'm interested in, and its languages are English and Hebrew. So if you're interested in checking out any of that stuff, all of Augie's links will be down in the description, so will a link to a Google form if you would like to apply for the hookup for yourself. And now let's wrap this up and get back to the outro of day 7. Hey everyone, and welcome to the closing ceremony of the Crolympic Games. I did have a bunch of stuff planned, similar to what I did in the opening ceremony, though not quite as extravagant. But to be honest, I ran out of time, so we're going to do just a bit of a sit down and a chat to wrap up the Crolympic Games. First of all, thank you to everyone who has stuck with me over the past week. I'm glad you've seemed to enjoy this series. I was a little bit concerned putting it up, especially with the opening ceremony, because look, I know it was completely ridiculous, but look, my hobby is making silly little crochet videos for the internet, so I'm not out here going to be taking myself too seriously. And I think we could all benefit from having a little bit of silliness in our lives on occasion. So I'm glad that the overall reaction to that was pretty positive. So again, thank you to all of you who have watched and stuck through this series with me. To finish off, I think I'm just going to go through the projects that we made, or at least the ones that I have, because my nieces and nephews might have absconded with a few of the frogs, but I think I've got everything else. And it'll be a good chance to test my memory and see if I can remember which day was which project. So number one, I'm pretty sure that was my mini cockatoo, the synchronized crochet event. And if you're interested in the original pattern for this, that was from Complicated Knots' channel. I'll put a link for that down in the description if you're interested. So thank you to Kylie for letting me borrow her pattern for this challenge. But there is my little cockatoo that I made. I don't think I did too bad a job. One of the things I had initially planned for this video was at the end of it to compare my pattern, the ones I sort of freehanded, to the actual pattern from Complicated Knots. But that was one of those things that I just sort of ran out of time with. That happened frequently. I was preparing this for this challenge for many months, and I worked on it for about 3 months in the lead up, sorry Roboraptor, in the lead up to the Crolympic Games, and yet I still ran out of time. I didn't get to do everything that I wanted to do. But that was just one of those things. There was some, unforeseen interruptions, and I ended up getting sick, so 3 months wasn't quite enough. But I know that for next time, so next Crolympics, I might have to leave myself 6 months to a year to prepare. And another thing I was actually going to do was I was going to attempt to do the full 2 weeks, sort of to match the actual Olympics. I'm probably going to need several years to prepare for that, so it's a good thing the Olympics only happens once every 4 years, huh? Anyway, that was event number one, synchronized crochet. Event number two, that was the frogs. I've only got a couple left because, as I said, my nephews and nieces, they nicked them because they liked them. I've got this one, I've got this one, and I've got the derpy frog. That did not work at all. I tried to use bobby pins for this one. I folded them up now, but I tried to use bobby pins. That wasn't very successful. Not very successful at all. But if you saw that video, you'll know that I was really just trying out different techniques that could potentially make a crochet frog hop. And these jumpy toys were by far the superior option. I mean, that jump wasn't, but if you saw the video, you'll know they actually hop. So they were day two. I'll put you guys over there. Day three, what was day three? I think day three might have been my granny hexagon cardigan, which I did not finish. I've still got the yarn here. But I will be finishing this because this project and a couple of others that I did during this series are actually going to appear in videos at some point down the line, because these are actually the start of larger projects. So I intend to make a full video on this and a couple of the others that we'll get to in a sec. But yeah, that was day three, and I'd probably say that's the only one I failed, because I didn't quite use the full 500 grams of yarn that I wanted to. I had, again, this much left. Day four was the echidna. I'm pretty sure it was the echidna, so I finished my whip after a couple of years, and I do like how this looks. If you saw that video, you'll know I ditched the crocheting across the body method and went with the crocheting individual spines and then sewing them on one by one method, which is annoying. I'm not going to lie, it's annoying doing it like that, but it made the echidna look so much better, I think, so it's worth the effort in the end, or at least in my opinion. As much as sewing and weaving in all those ends gets tedious, I mean, I think the echidna speaks for itself. So that was day four. Day five was granny squares. It's all right, I got it. Granny squares, and since then I've actually crocheted my way through the rest of that dark blue yarn I had. And I can tell you Because I think in that video I estimated I was going to get just under 20 squares. But now I can actually tell you how many that made, how many I got. So let me count. I managed to get 19 squares from all of that yarn, which is not quite enough for the project I wanted to make with the squares. So I will still be making another project with these. It just won't be that original one I had planned. I'll have to switch things up a bit. I did have a backup idea, and that's what I'm going to go with. So this is another one of those projects that you will see pop up in a future video. But I'm going to put these back so I don't lose them. Day 6. What was day 6? Day 6, I don't have the butterflies I crocheted. They are currently hiding from me. When I got back from my sort of trip back home, I took them out of my messenger bag where I kept them, and I put them in a project bag, you know, something similar to this. I usually keep my projects separated in bags. And now I can't find that project bag. I spent all morning looking for it. No idea where it's got to. I'm going to have a much more thorough search for those later on, because those butterflies were again something that was going to be used in a future project. And I know I didn't crochet many of them, but I still don't want to lose them. I want to know what the hell I've done with them. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing later. Searching for crochet butterflies. I have no idea where I could have put them. And then day 7, our final day of the Crolympics, was my little Tiefin. This guy is so cute, both in Power World and in crochet form. The one thing that bothers me about this though, well, there are a couple of things to be honest, but the one thing that really bothers me is I buggered up sewing the eyes. I put this eye 2 stitches back from the trunk, which is where I wanted it. And I put this one 3 stitches back from the trunk. And oh, it annoys me so much. And I didn't realize, for whatever reason, until I'd finished sewing this eye on completely. I'd already weaved in the end. Yes, I could get like a seam ripper and take this eye off and reattach it, but it just annoys me. It annoys me so much. They're not even. But even if they're not even, I still think my Tiefin looks pretty cute. There are a couple of adjustments I need to make to this pattern. I want to change up the shape of the legs. I think I need to make the tail a little bit shorter and a little bit narrower. But overall, I think I did okay on this Tiefin pattern. There's not too much I need to adjust or too much I want to change. So that written pattern, as well as the echidna, should be up on Patreon within the next couple of days. And the frog pattern, that is already up because that came out with the video version of the pattern a couple of weeks ago. Whenever that was, it was a couple of weeks before this video, maybe 2. I'll put a link for it in the description so you don't have to worry about scrolling back through my channel. So now that I have all my projects sitting here in front of me, or on me, as is the case, it's time for the medal ceremony. We're going to choose a gold, a silver, and a bronze champion. I think I'm going to give the gold. Who am I going to give the gold to? It's a toss-up between Tiefin, for just being the cutest little teapot elephant on the planet, and the echidna, because I was honestly surprised how much I liked this in the end. I didn't think the spines were going to work out very well, but no, I think they look pretty good. So who do I give the gold to? Maybe I give the gold to Tiefin, because in all fairness to the echidna, it did take me like 2 years to complete this, so I think I get a couple of points deducted for that. So Tiefin gets the gold. Here, Roboraptor, you can hold Tiefin for me. Which means I think my echidna gets silver. So second place, not too bad, not too shabby. There we go, second place. And third place, the granny square's a bit boring. Probably so is the hexagon cardigan. The echidna fell off the podium. Get up there. What was I saying? Yeah, the squares, the granny hexagon, bit boring. We're going to eliminate those, which means the third place is going to be between the Froggos and the Birdo. I'm going to have to award third place bronze medal to the frogs just because of how amusing they were. All of my nephews and nieces love these, and I had fun with them too. So for that alone, I'm awarding them the bronze medal. So here we are, your 2024 Crowlympic champions. Do you agree with me? Who would you award the gold, silver and bronze from this challenge? I should have crocheted little medals for them. But with the medal ceremony over, it is time to officially wrap up the 2024 Crowlympic Games. Thank you again to everyone who watched, to everyone who stuck with me throughout this series. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed it. As sort of exhausting and time-consuming as it was, I thoroughly enjoyed working on this series. It was a bit of a change from the series I've done in the past. I know for Easter and Christmas I've done bingo, which I did enjoy doing, but this was just something a little bit different, and I look forward to doing, similar challenges in the future. Maybe we can do something for Halloween. Might have to start planning now if I want to have it ready in time for October, but it is definitely something that we can attempt. Lastly, the written versions of the patterns will be available on Patreon if you're interested in that. Thank you again for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it, share it if you think it's worth sharing, and I will see you guys potentially next week, but I don't know if I'm going to have time to finish the video by Friday, so it may be the week after, but I'll see you when I see ya. Yes, we're going to see what else this crochet... Damn it. I can't maintain that voice. I feel like I'm recording for some sort of GPS navigation system. Turn right at the intersection up ahead. Such a genuinely beautiful performance. Performance? I think the heat from my hair straightener's got into my head. It certainly didn't go into my hair. Look at this. This was straightened a couple of hours ago. No, I'm gonna. I'm sorry. Okay, now I'm gonna make all your makeup run. Sorry. I mean, I know it's ridiculous. Okay. I'm all sweaty now. Maybe. Oh, that's it now. Oh, geez. My eyes are leaking. Whew, maybe it'll look like I'm crying because I'm so moved by this moment. Oh, okay. Whew. Stop it. Oh, my blanket is getting in the way. Oh, this is ruined now. You're gonna have to fix it. Sorry. With our crochet competitor. I've said way too many words today, and I'm only halfway done. Is this top see-through under the lights? I have a bra on. I don't really care beyond that. I've been filming for like 8 hours. My capacity to care is non-existent. Oh, hey, you're cheating! What have I done cheating? I'm getting it back.
Can we turn this thing on?
Got it turn on?
Yeah.
Alright, turn it on then. How much noise does it make though? Yeah, I know, but we're using this. Because it's crochet.
I don't know how to turn it on.
Oh, there's a button there.
Where?
It's already on though. No, see the orange button? That says it's... Or maybe that's the volume, I don't know. We can't operate a toy meant for 2-year-olds. Try not to hit that stuff.
Shake
So
hands
you just
before
do
the
it-
match. It's going to be a good match, no arguing. Thank you.
I don't want no fighting.
I don't want no smacks.
Not too hard, I don't want the bag to break.
Alright. Not too hard, guys. Not too hard.
I think you're supposed to rake it towards the pile.
Yeah, break it towards the pile. You're going backwards.
You're right.
Got that on film. That could be in the blooper section.